Luke 6, the writer records that we read, and the scribes and the Pharisees watched him, whether he would heal on the Sabbath day, that they might find an accusation against him. But he knew their thought, and said to the man which had a withered hand, rise and stand forth in the midst. And he arose and stood forward. Every time I think about this line of reasoning, knowledge of Christ, knowing the minds of men, or the hearts of men, I'm ever amazed that he didn't just say, destroy it all, for the way men were treating him, and for what they had planned for him. It's very amazing that Jesus would allow things to go as they did, but it is his great love that causes him, or forces him, or pushes him to do the things that he knows he has to do. It's not just his love for man, it's his love for the Father. And so, love for mankind, love for the Father, desire to be obedient to God, all of these things factor in his actions. And I try to figure out, or try to remind myself of how Jesus could act like he does, and the only example that I can come up with that makes any sense to me is a mother and a father in their love for a child. And the things that we will sometimes do for them because they're our children and we love them so much. So maybe if you think of it in that way, maybe that helps you to understand how Jesus, knowing and understanding that Peter is going to deny him, knowing and understanding that Judas is going to betray him, but he's still able to carry on and do the things that he must do. Anybody have a comment on that verse?
If you don't mind,
No.
go look at the other part of that. Here were the scribes and the Pharisees. I don't have to tell you, or even our audience, the Pharisees were considered the religious elite of the day for the most part. Remember, Saul of Tarsus was a Pharisee of the Pharisees. And they knew the Mosaic Law. The scribes it mentions here. And to think that the Mosaic Law said if your enemy's oxen fall into a ditch on the Sabbath day, you get it out. And jealousy had so consumed these people. If you remember Matthew 27, Pilate knew for envy they had delivered Jesus. Envy and jealousy being roughly the same. And to think that jealousy was so strong that they cared nothing. They had no compassion at all about this man who had a withered hand. And thinking how a healing, a true healing of this man's hand would change his life so much. And they cared nothing about that. The only thing they were looking to see if they might have a way to entrap the one they hated. And it's sad that jealousy and hatred can push one to such a level. And of course we know they went on to crucify Christ. But it just amazes me that here were religious leaders of the day, even under the Mosaic Law, they knew the compassion that God would have upon the poor and the needy as this man was. They cared nothing about the man, only that they might trap
was this crippled man that had a ramp that went into his vehicle, and he had to carry the groceries in just one sack at a time because he couldn't get up and walk. And there was people walking all around him, by him, in and out. You know, they saw his condition, but nobody offered to help him. I went over and helped him a little bit, and he appreciated it, but he says, it's always like that. Every time I come to the store, he said, hardly anybody ever comes and helps out. He said, I can get by myself, but it'd be nice if somebody could help. No compassion, like he's talked about, you know. Jesus had compassion, and sometimes other people don't have compassion on those whom they should.
Yeah, very true. We should be willing to aid where we can. All of these things, we need to remember.
It's hard to believe that them being there in person with him and doing, you know, and having the, not having the, what do you call it, to obey him or realize he was Jesus, and that he could, if he was gonna help the man with his withered hand, you know, and they saw it, I can't see them not believing it. It's just,
And I'm convinced that some of them believe, so you don't just, you can't deny the evidence. If you have knowledge of the text of the Old Testament, you can't deny the text. There is no doubt that some of them were ignorant. They didn't know what they should have. The Bible tells us that. But David brings up probably the most convincing point of all. Where's compassion? song that he had written, and it was really a beautiful song, but in one of the verses he had written, he asked, it's as a prayer song, God, please don't be too far from us. Well, God's not far from anyone. And I'm thinking, I'd like to sit that young man down and talk to him for a minute. Because he's got the idea that God has separated himself from man, and that's not true. Any or whatever separation has occurred, it's because man sinned, and man has walked away from God. God has never moved his location. Next paragraph, he knew those who were full of pretense. Where he said in Matthew chapter 7, verse 21 through 23, not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. So we find that words aren't enough. It takes action. And that's a theme throughout the New Testament. Action is demanded upon our part. He goes on to say that many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils? And in thy name done many wonderful works? And then I will profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. So here we have another case, another section of individuals. We have those who are claiming to know Jesus. Now we have those that are claiming to work for Jesus. It's important that we work, but we have to do the works that Jesus has, or God has given us to do. We cannot worship God on our own terms. We cannot come to God for salvation in our own way, in our own terms. And that should be our message. That God has a plan, that he offers salvation, but it's his way, and his way alone that can save us. Comments?
We don't do just part of what God says, we need to do all that God says.
Okay,
Because we can't get by just doing part of something.
okay. Anyone else?
And you know, when Jesus chose the 12, it says that he said, have yet not I chosen you 12, and one of you's a devil. So he knew that one would betray him, which was Judas.
Okay, so Jesus has shown, if you think back about what he has said in the sermon, straight is the gate, narrow is the way. It's not an easy path. It's hard. It's not impossible, but it's hard. And what makes it all possible is the grace of God and the mercy of God. And those who are going to enter in to this place
separated the tares, the wheat. They put the wheat in the barn, where if you look at this in my barn in 13, and then where the tares, they are basically burned. And that's basically kind of parallel within that parable as well. So I find that kind of interesting.
Okay, let's just, since you brought up the tares and the wheat, it's very interesting. That this tare is a plant that looks like a wheat. Whatever it is, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but the Bible indicates, and listen, having some knowledge of Greek, it shows us that these two plants look so much alike. And so the question is, when you're talking about the church, do we go ahead and try to pull out the bad? Well, sometimes that's going to do more damage than it is good. What's God's answer? And it gets us back to this chapter, right? God's going to do the separation. Yes, if we see sin in the church, if we see somebody who's been unruly, we should be acting on that. We should be taking action. But there are sometimes you and I just do not know. You know, I often look at things from this perspective. I'm going to take your word for it until you give me proof or reason not to take your word for it. And if you're lying, then God will deal with you. You know, marriage, divorce, remarriage, sometimes those situations are so sticky. That's what I end up telling people. If you're not telling the truth, you're the one that's going to answer to God, David.
Right. The idea, we may be suspicious.
Yes.
We may have some reason to believe something. But I think it's just a reminder that I don't have complete knowledge. And you alluded to this, but I don't have perfect understanding of all things. And sometimes our assumptions get us all in trouble. So, yeah, I think this is just another reminder. The parable of the tares, for instance, that, you know, God's the ultimate judge, and He certainly knows. And as you well said earlier, that's not to say that we just overlook, close our eyes, or hide our eyes to, you know, obvious sin of any sort. But there's often to the fact that we're not God. We don't know all things. And in that light, I think we need to tread lightly.
Yeah, we need to be very careful, don't we? Be very, very careful. All right. He calls his sheep by name. That's a very, to me, that's comforting, that Jesus knows us intimately. John 10, verse 3, those who have studied the Oriental shepherds and their sheep report that the shepherd actually names their sheep and call them by name. It is interesting. When one reads further about the shepherd's lives, he can see that why they knew the sheep so well. For some shepherds even stayed with their sheep during the night. Luke, in reporting the birth of Christ, says, and there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And so, some things that's interesting about that, and that particular verse, they are staying with them by night to protect them from predators. You gain a very intimate relationship with those animals. So much so, and I think he mentions that here in a moment, that they will not even listen to the voice of another shepherd that they do not know. I think that's interesting. Let me continue to read and see what he says. It is also pointed out by observers of shepherd life that even though here. Went on a dolphin tour a couple of years ago, and it was such a marvelous little trip. And what I discovered by talking to the captain of the boat, we had a little private boat that we were on, and he said, he made the comment that these dolphins are a lot like sheep. They key in on a noise, not a person's voice, but on the tone of a motor. That's pretty perceptive, isn't it? That when I'm using a V6 engine, and you've got a V6 engine, the tones of those engines are so different that you can run those boats fairly close to one another, but they're going to key in on the one they're used to. That's interesting. And he said that fact saves a lot of dolphins' lives, because tourists will come out and try to get dolphins to follow in their wakes, and tourists don't understand that if you slow down too soon or too fast, they're going to run into the problems and hurt themselves or kill themselves. And so being attuned to that saves their lives. Being attuned to the voice of God can save our lives as well. We need to listen, and that's what this is about. Them listening and hearing. That is, Jesus is sheep. The next paragraph says Jesus' sheep are his obedient children. He also knows each sheep and keeps a record of his behavior, or else, how could the name of the sheep be written in the book of life, Revelation 21, verse 7? So never get to the point where you think God doesn't know. He's listening. He is remembering. He is, figuratively speaking, he is writing it in a book. There is no leather-bound book in heaven. God has it in his mind. It's told us in such a way that we can understand it. The mind of God is so attuned and so powerful, he's not going to forget things. Paul, speaking to the elders of the church at Ephesus, said in Acts chapter 20 and 28, "Take heed therefore unto yourselves and to all the flock." How could they feed them? And so, I really appreciate the fact that David is one of the elders here from time to time. And it's an open invitation to anyone. If you want to hear a sermon, if you want to hear a topic discussed, you need to ask. And I appreciate David said, you've made that offer. And many times people have came to David and come to him, I want you to speak on this. Well, I've had the same thing here as well in this congregation where people want to study certain things, and we want that. So we can help you. So we need to know what people are, what they need. Jesus certainly does. Then it's the next paragraph, the final paragraph of the section says we should remember that in the judgment, each person will be judged on the basis of his own deeds or lack of them. And so it's not just what we do, it's the lack of what we do. And all of that is going to be taken into consideration. And so the book of life will be open. Since Jesus knows his sheep and calls them by name, none will be overlooked. How surprised will many be that Jesus doesn't regard them as his sheep? I think so many are going to be very surprised. Any questions? Any comments? Okay, the next section, number 3. We'll begin. We've got 5 or 6 more minutes. According to John, according to the writer, he states that he goes before them. As a sheep and a shepherd situation, you can see the shepherd leading the sheep. It's hard to drive a beast, an animal. It's a whole lot easier to get their confidence and get them to follow you. How many people in here have ever tried to drive a cow through an open gate? I mean, you could have a 16-foot gate, and guess where she's going to try to go? Right through a fence, or she's not going to go through that big open hole. But if you've got her confidence, you can lead her through. Let me read what he says here, John 10, verse 4. He is their leader, therefore their example in all things. To those whom he chose to be his disciples, he said, follow me. And so we have the Savior here following that same thought. see the benefits of of following his lead and accept that. He gives verses, Matthew 9:9, 16:24, John 1:43. Writer now said, we often sing the song, where he leads me, I will follow. Do we really believe those words when we sing them? And all too often, without really comprehending what it's meaning, we should understand and comprehend those words. Where did Jesus go before his disciples? Well, he went into villages and cities round about teaching the people. He went into the homes of the poor and blessed the people. He went into the meeting houses of the religious leaders and spoke the truth to them. He went among the bereaved and comforted them, as he did in the home of Mary and Martha. That's in the case of the death of their brother Lazarus. He went before the scribes and the Pharisees and condemned their hypocrisies. He went to a feast in the house of a publican. And finally, he went before wicked rulers to be judged unworthy to live. How far would we follow him? Can we really sing, where he leads me, I will follow? It's a bold statement, and it's a bold verse in a song. It's easy to say the words. Perhaps not as easy to live those words. It's hard. But know this, God is depending on you. Maybe I should back up. You depend on yourself for your salvation. Your salvation is dependent upon you following the leader, Jesus. God also depends on you. You are his feet, you are his hand, you are his mouth. You are everything that is needed to bring people to God. This is the way God has designed the church. No wonder he gave the great commission to go ye therefore and teach all nations. That's our responsibility. And we need to meet that head on. Number 4, up to that next page. He gives his life for his sheep. Sometimes wild animals, he writes, broke into the herd to kill and to destroy. It was then that the shepherd had to rise up against the intruder and protect the sheep, and his efforts to defend the flock from predators might mean his own death. As the true shepherd of the sheep, Jesus went to the cross to suffer, to die for the sheep. This he did because he loved all whom he might win by his sacrifice. When I think about Jesus and I think about being this shepherd, and I think about Satan perhaps being the wild beast who is trying to destroy and to devour the shepherd's sheep, I often think about David. And David being a shadow of Christ, and David defending his sheep, or the family sheep, and would face down a lion and a bear. Listen, I would run from spiders. Here's another man fighting bears and lions with his bare hands. What are we going to be about in our daily lives as sheep of Jesus? What are we going to be about? How are we going to react? We need to understand that Satan seeketh to destroy, seeketh to devour, according to the Apostle Peter. He wants us dead. Our hope and our strength, as it was for David in the physical life, our hope and our only hope is in Jesus Christ. Do you have your faith in Jesus? Do you follow him? One last paragraph and I'll stop. There are misers in the church whose giving in no way reflects the money they make. I'll be honest with you, that part of our worship scares